And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Richmond International Raceway as we get ready for race number 20 of Season 5 of the Snickers Cup Series. Here tonight, we have a special guest commentator here, Blue Fox 56, a.k.a. James Silver Fox, joining me in the booth. Thanks for joining me, James.
I'm McCloud, bro.
He is McCloud, and I have a very difficult time always, whenever I'm commentating. It's always I call him Silver Fox. I don't know why.
I'm way cooler than him. Come on, man.
You got 2 wins.
Exactly. Got 2 wins.
Anyway, I want to talk to you real quickly about those 2 wins. You've been in a bit of a slump lately, not finishing quite as well as you did at the beginning of the season. Of course, you started off the season great, winning the Daytona 500.
Right.
At this point in time, right now, you are coming in 10th in points in this race. Do you still look to try and get into the top 10 in points, or with your multiple wins, are you now just relying on a possible wild card spot to get you into the chase?
Well, at this point, me and the boys, we all feel like we're locked into the chase with those 2 wins. But we definitely want to get some momentum heading into the chase because that really helps you out. It tends to. So that's what we want. We want to get as many good finishes as possible before chase time and hopefully work our way into the top 10 in points. And if it doesn't, and if things happen to go wrong, we have the wild card to fall back on.
Yeah, and don't forget, too, you ended up winning your last race at a night race at Darlington. Here we are at another night race. Maybe something will click there.
I do like me some night races.
All right. Trent Whitney starts on the pole for this race, and he's the Season 3 Snickers Cup Series champ, but this season it's just not been a championship season for him at all. 42nd in points, dead last out of all drivers who actually made their first start at the season opener at Daytona. This team really needs to get something going here. Is it still possible, do you think, for this kind of a team doing so badly in points to still get into the chase?
I hate to say it, but it's going to be really hard. He's so far back from even 20th place. He's maybe about almost 150 points back from 20th place.
Yeah,
and
just
that
about
is way,
that.
way too big of a gap to try and make up before chase time. So I don't think he'd be able to make the chase.
Now, how about wild card spot possibilities? Because there's still, after this race, there are going to be 6 more races. I mean, he does have to, if you end up falling out of the top 10 in points, he then would have to catch up to 24th in points Rohit Vidaravu and pass him to get the second wild card spot. Do you think still, though, he has a slim hope as far as winning is concerned?
As far as winning is concerned, I still don't think so. I mean, even if he wins every race from now on, trying to catch up that high in points, it's going to be hard. I don't think it'll happen.
Kind of an interesting front row here tonight. Not only Whitney, who comes in 42nd in points, but 41st in points, Eric Burton going to start on his high side. So apparently these guys now, they're feeling the pressure. They're now just trying to get up there and win races, apparently.
Yeah, it looks like it. And, I mean, right behind them, you see the 5-car, Amelia Navarrete, also mired back 35th in points, I think.
Yep, that's exactly correct.
Yeah, a lot of people lower in the point standings qualified really well.
Yep. Well, we got also, to fill out that top 4, you talked about Navarrete, we got Red Bell. She's actually going to be making her final start here in the Snickers Cup Series. We've gotten word Trent Dunham's going to be making his return next week to the NNSCRA at Kansas. So Red Bell tonight, a good qualifying run for her. And Zohar Monad actually qualified really well in the Mobile Cup Series race. So hopefully they got a good program there for the one, and she can finish well there. One of the rather unusual systems going on here as far as Trent Dunham and the 1 car is concerned, where Red Bell and Zohar Monad's finishes actually go towards Trent Dunham's points. So tonight, if Red Bell wins, that's a win for the 1 team, and Trent Dunham will be able to use that next week at Kansas.
And Trent Dunham's chase hopes are still quite alive. I mean, he's 23rd in points, and when he comes back, I'm sure he'll be prepped and fresh and be able to do some magic in that race car. So I'm liking his chase hopes as well.
Yeah, and not only that, but Trent Dunham, last 2 seasons, he's made the chase for the Snickers Cup Series, so somehow, someway, you gotta feel that he's got something planned to try and make his way into the top 10 in points or something like that.
But it is still interesting, like we noted before, that the top 4 qualifying cars all be outside of the top 20 in points.
Yeah, so apparently they're feeling the pressure and they're just out there to try and win races. We're going to have to see what's going to happen during the course of the night As these cars roll off, we're going to have a little bit of a points battle today. Dylan Pote comes in with an 11-point advantage over Hayden Klein and then 13 points over John Cittadino. We may not see that come to a real big points battle, but still, anything can happen here tonight at Richmond.
That's quite right.
All right, so the cars roll off. We're going to show you starting grid for tonight's race, then we'll be right back. Getting ready to go under the green flag. Trent Whitney, Eric Burton. Both those drivers mired way down in the standings. They're starting on the front row. We saw in Trucks and Mobile that starting up front usually is the best thing. We'll see if that's going to happen tonight. Green flag's out. 40 laps here tonight, so we may end up having pit strategy come into play here, James.
Yeah, and Trent Whitney got a huge start.
Oh, wow. Red Bell, though, she got right up to his back bumper. And here comes a guy who I've actually been really surprised with, Austin Ogo. He was up as high as 12th in points. He's now slipped back to 16th, but for a rookie, a lot of rookies have really taken to this series rather well, and Ogo is one of them.
All right, I think caution's out, Seth.
Oh, it is. Wow, it's already out. You're right.
I noticed a pretty big gap.
Dear.
Wow.
I think the points leader may have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Chris
A bunch of
Dalton.
cars, the 33, the 51, all have damage.
I think I also saw another car back there that was damaged. I couldn't tell who it was. It might have been Silver Fox or it might have been Aaron Williams Jr.
Yeah, I saw 4 or 5 cars damaged. Pretty good there.
And this must have happened probably in turn 2 or something because the caution immediately came out, as you said. But doesn't look like
I think actually, this might have happened coming to the line because Dylan Pote just passed a bunch of cars.
That's true. He crossed the line in 29th, they're saying.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to look back at a replay of what happened. The points leader involved in the first caution of the night here at Richmond. Well, this was a driver we didn't know was involved in anything. This was actually coming to get the green flag to start this race. Danny Wells and Matthew Rodriguez going to make some contact heading into turn 1.
And Matt just clips Danny in the left rear, and Danny goes way too low into turn 1. It looks like he's just about to wash back up the racetrack.
I think right there he gets a piece of the wall, and yeah, he's going to come back up, and he's going to get into Sean Galligan.
And that's how Galligan got his damage, I'm assuming.
I think both those drivers started just outside the top 10, too. I think Danny started in 11th place, and Galligan was somewhere around 9th or 10th for the start of this race. So that's a tough break for both those guys. And Danny Wells, the reason we didn't see him at the back of the pack is his car must have hit the wall so hard, he just stalled it there in turn 1.
Right, and I believe, when the 31, when Danny and was it Galligan, when they both washed up the track, they were going too wide under them. So essentially, they were 3 wide coming off the turn. So I have to congratulate them; they held that really well.
Yeah, and Danny didn't have that good a line entering into that corner either, so it was very difficult for him not to have that car wash back up the racetrack. And then here we got something that happened up here with Dylan Pote, and before we get to that, as we're watching to see what happens here, it looks like Henley's going to go 3 wide with him, with London on the high side. But Danny Wells comes in 5th in points. This is not going to help him, especially wrecking this early tonight.
Yeah. But trying to think, I think I see the 9 turning behind them as well.
9 of Zach Campbell, look back at that. And, boy, I don't know. He just didn't give him much room.
He might have been really kind of tight coming up off the corner and runs into Pichu London.
Saw Aaron Williams Jr. get a piece of that there. There's Jordan Davis just squeaking through.
The 9 made it through, so I think Zach Campbell, that was just hallucinating.
There was smoke up ahead. I think that was Aaron Williams Jr. actually spinning out James Silverfox got a little piece of it. There's McCloud. I think he slowed down. Dollerton did not, though.
Yeah. Dollerton got a heavy hit. Hood crumples up really fast on that 31. Or is that the 33? That's the 33.
That's the 33. And it looks like Norman Jackson, our winner from Pocono. Richard
I believe
Johnson.
everyone gets through it fairly well. Really good driving by everyone.
Yeah, everybody does. Fortunately, I think we only had, at the most, 5 cars get damage out of that, and not really significant damage for any driver, with the exception of possibly the rear of the 78 and the front of the 33.
Right.
So the caution originally comes out for Danny Wells. We then had another pileup take place out of turn 4. Caution's out for the first time tonight. Let's go back to green. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Trent Whitney out in front still. That caution was a big break for him, as he was possibly going to get a challenge from Red Bell there in a few laps. She's going to restart second. Ogo is in third. Eric Burton fourth. And Wida Sabotas now up to the 5th position. The rest of the top 10 are Emilio Navarrete, Mary Cole, Adam Chambers, Jeffrey Buckeye. Very good run for him, and what I believe is only his 3rd start in the Snickers Cup Series. He's up to 9th, and Ralph Mason is going to complete the top 10 here tonight. One driver that we're going to be keeping our eye on, who's moved his streak to 5, is Sean Henley. He has 5 straight top 5 finishes coming into this race. The defending Snickers Cup Series champ is now 6th in points, and he's worked his way up now to 17th on lap number 6.
Henley looks to have, he has a very fast car, probably one of the best of the Tweenix cars today.
Yeah, and apparently he had a fast car. He tried going 3 wide with his Tweenix Racing teammate there, which ended up bringing out the first caution, so he must have a real strong race car. And here he comes looking to the inside of Alex DeMarco immediately for 16th place. This guy, I'll tell you what, we haven't had a 2-time Snickers Cup Series champ. We haven't had a 2-time champ anyway. Oh, whoa, McCurry was around.
Is that McCurry?
That was Anthony McCurry in the 61.
Caution's undoubtedly out. Wow.
McCurry gets it
back
turned back around.
Old alley.
Tim Walsh is on the apron. I think he got a piece of it, and I think Rohit Vidarvu may have gotten some of it too. He's got damage to the rear of his car. And here come the front of the field. They're going to get behind the pace car.
Rohit with heavy back-end damage.
Yeah, it looked like only a 3-car incident, though, amazingly enough. That was right up at the front of the field.
Yeah, but I guess since they all went up to the high side, everyone could just drive down below them.
Well, Anthony McCurry, 2-time winner this season. His last win came at Daytona. Rohit Vidarva right behind him, also a 2-time winner. And whoa, Tim Walsh blowing right by them. Oh, looks like he's headed for pit road. Oh, maybe not. He was driving rather fast to pick up his positions.
Maybe not the smartest move.
No.
Whatever. Galligan has a lot more damage than I thought he did.
Yeah, he ended up getting clipped there by Danny Wells. I think he hit the wall pretty hard with the front of that car, but McCurry, Vidarvu, and Tim Walsh. Looks like those are the 3 that bring out the caution for the 2nd time today. Let's take a look and see what happened.
Well, Matt Rod's involved again.
Yes, he is. Matthew Rodriguez. 2nd time tonight he's turned somebody. First it was Danny Wells. This time it's Anthony McCurry. I guess he has something against energy drinks. He turned the Rockstar Energy Chevy before. Now it's the Monster Energy Toyota.
Let's purge the world of the energy scum.
Apparently it's Fun Dip versus energy drinks or something. I don't know, but that's a tough break for McCurry.
Can you imagine being on both of those at the same time?
I can imagine it. I probably would never do it.
Alex DeMarco looks like he got a small piece of that.
Just a tiny piece. I don't think that's going to be enough to really hurt him aerodynamically, though.
Yeah. And it looks like everyone else got through pretty cleanly, though. I'm
not quite sold on the fact that, there's Vidarvu. I think the Vidarvu and Tim Walsh got into their own separate incidents off this corner.
Right into John Cittadino, too. Only 3-time winner of the season.
Whoa. Vidarvu just got wicked loose off that corner. Look at the car just spin around on him.
Yeah, right in front of the 9 of Zach Campbell.
I don't know if he locked the brakes up to avoid McCurry or what.
McCurry just stalled dead on the racetrack. John Cittadino with nowhere to go. He'll get a small piece of that.
It's on the left front. And that's another driver who comes in running really well in points. And where is Tim Walsh? Because he had something happen to him. Oh, there he is. Doing little
See,
loop-de-loops through the grass. He's going to get turned by... Oh! He makes contact with Kyle Sosnowski, then just gets shoved in the back by the deuce of Dylan Young.
Kyle has some left side damage. I didn't notice that before.
No, I didn't either. So it looks like they all just started backing up and spinning around trying to avoid Anthony McCrory when he came back up on the racetrack, and we had one or two follow-up wrecks after the McCrory spin. And that's typical Richmond, too.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a spin up high, everyone goes down low to avoid it, and they all just kind of bottleneck collect together, and another wreck's inevitable.
So we're under caution for the third time tonight now, or no, second time tonight, rather. And this time it involves McCrory, Tim Walsh. Dylan Young's got some pretty extensive front-end damage to his car there in that Miller Lite Ford. Darvu was around, and quite a few other drivers. We also saw third in points, John Cittadino get a little piece of that, so this may impact the two drivers who come in third and fourth in the standings. Seems like Richmond's targeting some of the big players here tonight.
Indeed.
All right, let's get back. What?
I was saying it feels like we've had about 4 cautions, though.
I know, it does. It seems like there are a lot more cautions that have happened than actually have, and unfortunately I have a very sinking feeling there are many more to come. So, we're going to take you guys back to yet another restart. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing one more time. This time the green will come out on lap 14 of 40. My mathematics are correct. That should give us 27 laps to go here tonight. Whitney the leader. Really no change really amongst the top 5. It's then Red Bell second, Austin Ogo third, Eric Burton fourth, and Whitus Avotas in fifth. Right there we got a lap car now. Sean Galligan was just on pit road and fell a lap down to the leaders. So now these drivers are going to have to contend with lap traffic. Is that going to play a factor into shuffling this top 5 around, do you think?
Maybe not the top 5. The top 5 tend to get around lap cars really easily, and Sean Galligan looks like he has a damaged enough race car not to get a good enough jump. So I don't think the top 5 will be affected too much, but anyone after that, there will be a lot of shuffling and shifting later on through the pack.
So we take the green flag here on lap 14. Only one driver is back behind the wall, and that is Danny Wells. Everybody else is on the racetrack. Galligan's the only one off the lead lap, and he was able to get between Trent Whitney and now second place Austin Ogo. That's a big plus for Trent Whitney.
I stand corrected. All right, he is really screwing up the top 5. But Trent Whitney pulling away a lot.
He is. Trent Whitney in the Curb Records Ford, and I believe we're still green flag racing, actually. Yes, we are.
Yeah, I think they made it through a lap. I think Sean Galligan, okay, they got around Sean Galligan for the most part.
Yeah, but where did Red Bell go? Oh, man, they're 3 wide off this corner. Chambers is, and there they go. Apparently, you can't go 3 wide out of turn 4.
Another car sideways through the corner. Not through the corner, down the straightaway.
Saw Galligan spinning around. There's Richard Johnson. Barney Ward. Jake Cole was one of those cars that got together with Chambers.
Jake Cole was kind of heavy damage as well.
Oh, Jacob Lawler's involved. He comes in as race 7th in points. Oh, he's got a lot of damage there to that boneless chicken Toyota.
I hit the bones!
And look who got through there relatively clean. Sean Henley just continuing to stay out of trouble.
Up to 16th now.
And everybody up here looks like they were okay. I think the wreck happened behind them. I'm not exactly sure, but I almost think that maybe Red Bell and Sean Galligan may have made some contact with each other, but it didn't bring out a yellow flag, because I did hear some scraping back there, and then all of a sudden Red Bell disappeared from the top 10.
Very possibly.
So we'll take a look, see if that happened, and then we're going to see what happened to Adam Chambers and Jake Cole coming off of turn number 4 to put us under the caution yet again here tonight at Richmond. Well, here's the incident that ended up putting Red Bell way far outside of the top 10. Austin Ogo, I think, comes up, and he's going to get into the left front of Red Bell, and it shoots him up into Galligan. And Galligan, along with Red Bell, they get the wall, and that just killed their momentum. But the both of them were able to keep it straight, so we stayed green at this point.
And Red Bell doesn't look like she hit the wall too hard, so not too much damage on that one car.
No, not at all. I think she just barely scraped it. That was a good save there by the one, especially when you got all the momentum pushing you towards the outside retaining wall.
And you can see, I mean, the difference. Sean Galligan slammed that outside retaining wall, so really good car control by Red Bell.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing. The only bad thing is that she ended up losing momentum and lost several spots underneath that with the fact that no caution came out at that point. But then I think she actually does get a little piece of what happens off turn 4 the next time around. We're going to jump ahead to that. So here's a look at what happened, and boy, they got really close off the corner. They were almost 5 wide there. DeMarco was to the inside of Jake Rogers.
And Adam Chamber, 15th in points, is just going to get spun. Not much he can do there.
Nope. And I'll tell you what, it may have been just a 2-car incident if he had not gotten into Jake Cole there. Jake Cole then just kind of blocked up the racetrack. And look who's on the high side there behind all that smoke. That's Sean Henley, and somehow he gets his way through this wreck.
Yeah, I believe he just follows that 87 through.
Oh, Barney Ward didn't
Mason.
slow down. He ran to the back of Matt Rod. Then there's Lawler. And then there's Red Bell. She didn't slow down enough, and she ran into the 15.
Just a bunch of cars piling in there. But yeah, it's amazing. Sean Henley, I think, actually, he did barely tap the Jacob Lawler there, but not hard at all.
Everybody else, fortunately, coming and slowing down. Oh, well, with the exception of Kyle Sosnowski.
Yeah.
But everybody did a relatively good job, though, getting through that. Did have maybe, I'd say, 7 or 8 cars involved there, but when that smoke comes, you just got to try and pick a line and get through.
Yeah, and sometimes the low line doesn't work because you come back up the racetrack, and sometimes the high line doesn't work because the other cars come back up the racetrack. So it's kind of hard to judge, but when you pick the right line, it really does save you.
Well, Adam Chambers, as you mentioned, 15th in points, a former Snickers Cup Series champ, ends up bringing out the caution after contact with Ralph Mason. Another former Snickers Cup Series champ, Trent Whitney.
More contact, sorry, between the 24 and...
That's teammates, the 88 and the 24.
That's Aaron Williams and Michael Norman.
Yeah. And then it looks like Pichu London made a little bit of contact there, too. Not sure what that was all about, but I don't think that really... Well, yeah, actually, I think that did sustain them quite a bit of damage. I think I just see a big buckle on the hood of the 24 now.
Well, I mean, the 88 ran into the 24, so it would be Michael Norman who would get the front end damage.
Yeah, they both have front end damage now.
I don't know where Aaron Williams' damage came from, though. Not quite sure.
No, I'm not exactly sure either. I know he was behind an incident there, and for some reason we got Jordan Davis on pit road. I don't know why he's down there. There's Vedarvu, and there's George Roque on pit road, too.
It might have been a separate incident.
There could have been. Let's quickly see if we can find out what that was. I don't remember seeing them get into anything with each other, and... Oh my goodness gracious, there was.
A huge wreck coming off of turn 2.
Wow. Didn't even see this take place, and this was actually after Red Bell and Sean Galligan had gone up and gotten that retaining wall. Austin Ogo just gets freight trained, and then, wow. Roque and Ogo and Davis all make contact, and Roque is up and on his roof on the back straightaway.
And that's where Aaron Williams gets damage, I'm assuming.
Yep, you're right.
Vedarvu hard into the front end of the 24.
And Norman got into Pichu London, so that may have been where he got a little bit of his front end damage. We also know he then ran to the back of Aaron Williams Jr. back there in the front straightaway. But, man, second week in a row, George Roque has had problems. He ended up running way up at the front of the field at Pocono. Got spun out. Fortunately, everybody missed him, but right now, his chances of making the chase not looking so good as he stalled it out there on the back straightaway. And he's just been having a lot of hard luck there in that Michael Waltrip Racing Toyota.
Yeah, 18th in points coming into this race with no wins. Really has to pick it up if he wants to make that chase.
So we had ourselves about 3 different incidents taking place. The caution came out for, I'm guessing, this one. I guess the other wreck that happened in turn 4 was after the caution came out. Because I'd find it rather interesting if a car flipped upside down, they didn't throw the yellow, but stranger things have happened anyway. But we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing yet again, and it looks like the field may dwindle down quite a bit here after these incidents that have taken place. We have reached the halfway point, amazingly enough, as Trent Whitney is still the leader. When we go back to green, we'll have 20 laps to go in this evening's event. Juarez de Votas has now moved up to second, Eric Burton third, Mary Cole fourth, Emilio Navarrete fifth, then it's Buckeye, Jake Rogers, there's some lap cars in Baydarvo and Galligan. Alex DeMarco is going to restart in 8th. 9th place is going to be Jake Cole, even though he ended up getting hit by that incident on the front straightaway. And Derek Reed now completes the top 10. No, we've seen this happen before, and apparently it's happening here tonight as well. Austin Ogo had a little bit of an incident there, but he's still on the lead lap. But he and Jake Rogers, Burger King Racing, one of the underfunded Toyota teams, they seem to be able to get really good runs. As the green flag comes back out here on lap number 21. Update on drivers back behind the wall. Jordan Davis and George Roque have both gone back behind the pit wall. Or not behind the pit wall, but oh my goodness, we got a big incident back here. And it involved Mary Cole now. This is another wreck that happened up at the front of the field. Mary Cole was able to save it. The other car involved may have been Jeffrey Buckeye. There's Sean Galligan. He was in it. That was a big hit. I saw black smoke immediately come out of one of those cars. Oh, and John Cittadino, third in points, was involved in it. Michael Norman as well. There's Pichu London. His night is over. Tim Walsh was involved as well. Heavy-duty damage to that Toyota. Trent Whitney going to be the leader under yet this other caution. Richard Johnson involved. James McCloud's gotten a piece of it. There's Jeffrey Buckeye. Several of these drivers are running up inside the top 10. As Trent Whitney's going to lead us under yet another caution flag. Again, another big wreck, and this time taking place out of turn number 2. Doesn't matter where they are, they always seem to find a place to wreck, as we'll head back to a replay.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be due to that slower lap car of Sean Gallagher. I think the slower car of Rohit Vidarbu plays into this too, and coming off of turn number 2, Galligan and Mary Cole make contact, and then Buckeye just going to get clipped right there.
And Buckeye into Mary Cole, and that'll just block the whole racetrack from there.
Man, there was black smoke coming, and I think that was out of the 22, immediately hitting that wall. Oh, and then James Silverfox got turned around further back there. I don't know by who. And then John Cittadino gets turned by Red Bell into the inside retain. Well, those are two teammates.
Crazy, and I mean, I think that's how a few of the cars in the back of the pack got involved.
Oh, but, man. Look at Jeffrey Buckeye.
Wow. Buckeye got hit hard.
That was Richard Johnson nailed him. Jake Cole's got damage on the high side there. I think he hit Galligan.
He'll get hit again by Ralph Mason.
Oh, and look way in the back there. Tim Walsh barrel rolling.
Wow.
Oh, McCreary almost goes airborne as he got jacked up by somebody. Good grief.
Looks like Cittadino made it through. I don't know. He doesn't look like he has too much damage. Not quite sure why he went to... Okay, he does have some front-end damage. I couldn't see the paint scheme.
He's got a little bit of damage there. There was some... Good grief. They just all went chaotic here out of this corner.
2 huge incidents. You see McCloud back there, Sosnowski.
All right, let's see coming out of here. May have started with Silver Fox. Oh, yeah, Silver Fox gets nailed by Tim Walsh. Then gets nailed by McCloud.
It's hard to see through all that smoke.
It is. I can't even tell who it was that actually flipped the Tim Walsh machine over. It may have been the 24 of Aaron Williams Jr. And
I
then,
don't believe so, because Aaron's still going until he hits the 47.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, maybe it was Pichu London. It might have been his own teammate, Pichu London, because look at the hood jacked up on the 26.
I believe it might have been Pichu London. Either that or McCloud.
Wow. I'm not even going to try and venture a guess how many drivers were involved in this one, because this started right up at the front of the field. And
2 huge separate incidents, and they were both huge.
Yeah, and then that first one, the stragglers that got through that incident, that second incident, then somehow ended up getting involved in bits and pieces of the first incident. So the 2 wrecks, they happened separately, but then they kind of merged.
Yeah. It's a shame, actually. Before I was going to talk about Mary Cole, we were talking about Sean Henley before representing for Twin X Racing. Mary Cole was inside the top 5. It's a shame that she has to get taken out in a wreck like this and her night.
Yeah, speaking of Sean Henley, I don't think I saw him anywhere near that wreck. He is 17th now.
He actually lost a position from the last restart.
Yeah, he did. I didn't actually look. He's here with these damaged race cars that we know did get involved. Red Bell and right behind him, you've got the damaged race car of Ralph Mason. So he
Sean
was.
Henley himself doesn't seem to have any visible damage.
No, he looks relatively clean. He just hasn't apparently been able to capitalize on picking up spots when those wrecks happen. But this night, it's still rather early, still time to make up ground. Henley trying to improve his streak to 6. So he comes in 6th in the point standings. And I'll tell you, we've seen right now drivers like Poteet early on. We saw John Cittadino, Anthony McCurry, Danny Wells, drivers ahead of him have problems. Maybe a top 5 tonight isn't exactly what's needed to pick him up spots in the standings. If he can just survive this race, he may move up to 3rd or 4th in points.
Although I don't think it's quite necessary to gain too many spots and points. We are looking towards chase time at this point. So
just basically looking for consistency and
maybe just momentum heading into momentum heading into the chase rather than just picking up spots.
Yeah, and just trying not to DNF so you don't put yourself in a hornet's nest in the final race trying to, by the skin of your teeth, get into the chase.
Yeah.
We're under the caution yet again. This time a huge incident taking place on the back straightaway. There are going to be a lot more drivers back in the garage area as a result of this. It almost looked like Dante's Inferno on the back straightaway, all that black smoke. We'll try and settle it all out in just a moment as we'll head back to the restart. Drivers have yet to even make pit stops, so that may come into play here very soon as Trent Whitney still leads us here tonight at Richmond. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. This time it'll be on lap 27 of 40. That'll give us 14 laps to go. The laps are ticking down now. And Trent Whitney is out in front. Waitos Savotas is in 2nd. Eric Burton in 3rd. Jake Rogers 4th. And Mary Cole in 5th. The top 5 have not been to victory lane yet this season in a Snickers Cup Series event.
Mary Cole's still up there, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize.
I think she was able to hang on to it. I saw her drive away from the incident, but I didn't know she was running that high.
She does have pretty significant rear end damage, though, so we'll have to see how that plays out with her holding up the rest of the field or not.
Derek Reed going to restart 6th. How about the 2 rookie teammates? Alex DeMarco 7th and Zach Campbell in 8th. They've done a great job tonight. Navrit's hung in there in 9th, and Matthew Rodriguez, who was turning everybody in sight at the beginning of this race, he's now up to 10th.
Mary Cole looks like she's up to speed, but all the lappers not quite.
Looks like Michael Norman, Rohit Vidarbu, and John Cittadino were the lap cars. And Jake Rogers, man, he got loose off that corner. And he's around, and we got another big wreck.
Cittadino involved. I think Matt Rod got away from it. Ralph Mason.
Oh my goodness gracious, what are they doing up here?
Getting into the... Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Barrels.
The barrels strike. Aaron Williams Jr. was in that. Michaels, Dollerton, Cole Daly was involved in that. He's been trying to get himself back inside the top 10 in points. Not going to happen tonight. Lawler, Snosky, and Poteet, the points leader. McCurry, Chambers, Ogo, and Hayden Klein. So now, with Hayden Klein damaged and involved in a wreck, the top 5 tonight have all been involved in wrecks of some kind.
Top 6, Henley was in a wreck before too, and Jacob Lawler might have gotten so top 7 all involved in wrecks.
I'm looking through here. I'm trying to find out who wasn't involved in wrecks. I think it's only drivers that are basically up inside the top 6 or 7 in this race.
Yeah.
Wow. We are nearing less than 10 laps to go. Trent Whitney out in front. Another huge wreck taking place. This time in turn number 3. I think they've wrecked in every part of this racetrack so far tonight.
Backstretch, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. Yeah, pretty much.
Entrance to pit road.
Exit to pit road.
They are finding everywhere to wreck here, and it's just smooth sailing so far for Trent Whitney.
Just wreck on pit road when they make pit stops.
I know, that could come into play here too. I mean, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Caution waves again. Whitney continues to dominate this race. Cautions are his best friend right now, I think.
Yeah, definitely. More caution is less time people have to pass him.
That's right. Takes the pressure off him in that battle for the lead. So he leads here still. We are now hitting the point of 10 laps to go. We'll look back at a replay. Yet another huge incident, this time out of turn number 3. So here's a look at what happened, and it was Mary Cole turning Jake Rogers there, right in the middle of the back straightaway.
Totally Miracle with that damaged race car, looking to go anywhere she can to not get wrecked, and just caused one.
She turned down to John Cittadino too, and that just starts blocking up the racetrack. And look at all these guys we were talking about who were running so well to get involved. Zach Campbell, Derek Reed, there's Emilio Navarrete. Here comes Hayden Klein. Oh man, he just runs right into the side of the Farmers Insurance car.
But like you said before, it's kind of hard pressed to find someone who hasn't been involved in a wreck today.
Absolutely. And even more drivers who actually looked relatively clean on this restart get involved in this. And the reason that they all piled up here at the pit wall was Chambers in the 43. And they just all come plowing in. Oh my goodness. Michael's
that looks violent.
That does. I mean, those barrels are full of water and everything, and they're supposed to help them from hitting that sharp area at the entrance of pit road, but that still is hard impact for those guys. And Chambers and Poteet's right there in the middle of it, and then they're coming more
piling
drivers.
In.
Good grief!
McCrory, I believe that's 83.
That was, yep. Sosnowski, Rogers, Dollarton.
A ton.
Who would have thought? But I actually think that the barrels, the incident there with the barrels, is going to take out more drivers than all the wrecks we've had tonight combined.
That was, 9 or 10 drivers hitting the barrels right there, yeah.
At least. And the 83 is actually up and on the roof of the 33 right there on the right side of the screen.
Was that the 10 of Joshua Michaels as well that got taken out?
Yeah, he ended up barrel rolling down pit road.
Yeah, we hadn't even talked about him all day, but quick end for him as well.
My goodness, crazy stuff going on here, and I'm trying to look and see what drivers involved where they were in points. Poteet comes in first in points, Klein second in points, Cittadino third, McCurry fourth, Lawler seventh, and Mary Cole 11th in points, Cole Daly 12th in points. So that's a lot of drivers up at the front, or the top of the standings, rather.
Right.
Well, we are nearing less than 10 laps to go. As a matter of fact, we've hit that point, so we're going to head back. We're getting close to the point where if the caution comes out, race is going to be over under the yellow. So we're going to have to see what happens. A lot more DNFers going to go back to the garage area after this incident. We may have only a handful of cars left to battle for the win here tonight.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Going to go back to green flag racing on lap 33 of 40. That should give us a total of 8 laps to go here tonight. I think if the caution comes out one more time, if it comes out immediately after green flag, we may be able to have either a green-white checkered or a one-lap shootout. However, these guys can keep it together for about 4 or 5 laps, and then the caution comes out, I think the race would end under the yellow. So we'll have to see what they'll be able to do. First, document the drivers out of the race, and there are loads of them. It's like
wow,
cars.
only less than 20 cars left on the track.
Yeah, I think we've got a total of maybe 20 cars left. I think Aaron Williams Jr. and John Cittadino may have gone back behind the wall. Hayden Klein, Dylan Poteet, the points leader, Chambers, McCurry, Ogo, Michaels, Lawler, Daly, Sosnowski, Dollarton, Pichu London, Jeffrey Baikai have all gone back behind the wall, and you see the rest of the retirees. And we got a battle for the lead. First time tonight.
Wow. Has a challenge, and that 99 is coming as well, Eric Burton.
Oh, wow. Trent Whitney got a good run off turn 4, though. He may keep the... Oh, caution's out again. Caution immediately waived. So I would think this is going to mean that we will... Oh!
So close between Eric Burton and Avotas right there.
Good grief. And looks like Dylan Young's the reason the caution is going to come out. And the caution's out with 6 laps to go. I think we are going to be able to get back to green. Oh, I think Mary Cole may have gotten a piece of this incident. Boy,
that damaged race car of Mary Cole just cannot get herself out of trouble.
She got involved in that first incident, and ever since then, she's been involved, I think, in every caution after that.
The Lucky Charms Chevrolet, not so lucky tonight.
Apparently not. And I think Dylan Young may have gotten a little piece of whatever that incident was as well. these cautions continuing to come out here for Trent Whitney, and they're helping him out as he leads. We got 5 laps to go now. See if we are going to get back to green for maybe a 1-lap shootout or something. First, we'll look back at a replay of what could possibly be our final caution of the night. So here's what happened. Mary Cole going to dive it down into turn 3 underneath Dylan Young, and well, I don't know. The two of them had their own racing lines, and they just kind of intersected.
Yeah, Dylan Young looks like he came a bit too low coming off of his line, and Mary kind of drifted up, and just a racing incident there, but collects a ton of drivers. Citadino and Emilio Navarrete are involved as well there.
So we had about a 4-car incident there. Mary was running in the 13th position. Dylan Young was in 14th at the line, so both of them were en route to possible top 15 finishes. We've gotten word that Mary Cole's retired. Dylan Young was on pit road, so I think he's falling a lap down to the leaders now.
Yeah, but with all the cars in the top 10 that had DNF'd earlier, both of those could have easily maybe gotten into the top 10 points, but it doesn't look like it'll happen now.
Yep, very easily could have, and chance for that may have just gone up in smoke for both the 2 and the 4. As we are under the caution flag, we're going to head back now, see if we can find out if we are going to get back to green. If not, Whitney will probably win this race under caution, but I think we do have enough time to maybe get one last restart. Alright, here we go. We are going to have a 1-lap shootout. Green flag, white flag. They'll be displayed at the exact same time. We saw Whitus Sabotas had something for Trent Whitney on that last restart. Can he make the move for the win here on the final lap?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, trying to get that, even if he gets to the inside of the 98 of Trent Whitney, that run coming off of turn 4 that Trent gets, it's hard to keep up with that.
Yeah, the thing I've seen here, especially in trucks and mobile, was the inside line is the preferred line in turns 1 and 2. Outside line, though, with that run you're talking about, is the preferred line through turns 3 and 4. So Abotas going to have his hands full trying to get around that 98, who has dominated tonight's event. He's led every lap tonight, trying to look for his first win of the season. Let's see if he can do it. Green flag, white flag out in the air, and Abotas got a nice jump on him here. Maybe going to dive bomb him here into turn number 1.
Maybe we will even see a bump and run. I'm looking for that. That'd be a great ending to this race.
Whoa, Eric Burton moved him out of the way, and Burton's coming on the inside line now.
Great move by Burton to take second place, but it does not look like he has anything for Trent Whitney.
Whitney's got it.
Coming up for 4.
What a dominating race. Oh, and somebody spun on the front straightaway, coming to the green.
So green and white displayed at the same time, checkers and yellow at the same time.
Exactly, and the race, ironically enough, though not surprising, that it's going to end under the caution flag.
Well, I mean, we did get our final lap of racing, and it looks like it was Henley that was involved, possibly.
And Ralph
93
Mason,
Rogers
I think, or
as well.
somebody just pounded into the barrels again. It may have been Citadino, I don't know.
Just a ton of cars damaged. You just see it looks like a graveyard.
And there's Henley. Oh, so close to continuing the streak. He's going to finish 7th tonight.
Still a really good run from him. He started back in the 20s, I believe, so...
well, I guess we can. I guess we can continue another streak for him because this is now his 6th straight top 10. I guess we can move to top 10s now.
Yeah, I mean, did he have a top 10 before that? Maybe.
Yeah, he had. Well, I'm actually not sure. Before
It
the
might
streak
be
of
more.
top 5s, I don't know. So maybe more.
Yeah, we'll have to go check back on that.
Yeah.
But looks like about everyone in the top 10 in points, barring, I'm not sure if Barney Ward got damaged or not. Barring
He got
Barney
damaged
Ward,
for
everyone.
one thing, but I think he was able to continue.
Pretty sure everyone else is out, so I think the only person in the top 10 that's still running are Sean Henley and Barney Ward.
Yeah, I think you're right. Boy, we're going to, as always, take a look at our top 10 here, and I guess you could call this the survivors list, because tonight, that was basically what it was all about.
I believe, 15 cars survived the race?
16 cars ended up finishing on the lead lap. I believe a total of 20 actually finished tonight's event. Whitney wins this race. That's big for Whitney. I mean, he probably won't make the chase, but still, to be able to still have a victory, that makes him 3 for 3 in the past 3 seasons for having at least one win.
I mean, I believe there was a series before where I came dead last in points, but I had one win on the season, and it made my season. So, good showing for Trent Whitney.
Eric Burton, that was a power move by the 99. I actually thought he was going to have something for Whitney in turn 3, but not quite. Big run for both him and Eric Burton tonight, Whitney and Burton, because they came in 41st and 42nd in points. Quite a statement made by both those drivers. And how about Weiss Votas, 37th in points too. So you got 3 drivers who came in not doing well in points, and they come away with very decent finishes tonight.
And I mean, they started the way they came in. They finished the way they came in with Trent Whitney starting on pole, and who was it? That was Eric Burton on outside pole. Finished
Right.
1-2.
Yep. Zach Campbell, this is a rookie that's really turned up the heat as of late. He's 4th tonight. He comes into this race 19th in points. He may be making a bid for getting inside the top 10 in points, not certain. And Derek Reed, very nice run for him in that 5th position for the 13, that single car race team. Ralph Mason, who I guess celebrated his top 10 finish by running into the barrels on pit road, but he'll get 6th. Henley, as we mentioned, 7th. How about Red Bell, overcoming adversity, ended up just almost scraping the wall with Sean Galligan, worked her way back up to finish 8th.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of cars that we hadn't been mentioning as well for a lot of the day, like Derek Reed, for example, got a good finish. And he was also another car that's back there in points, and 30th in points.
Yeah, you're right. Jake Cole, another driver way back in points, 38th in the standings. We end up seeing him get involved in that incident with Chambers and Mason. He recovered nicely. He'll get 9th. And Jake Rogers, who ended up getting turned by Mary Cole just a few cautions ago. He's going to finish the night in the 10th position. So good runs by a lot of drivers who really needed top 10 finishes.
Yeah, and I mean, drivers like Derek Reed, I mean, they still have a shot at the chase. They might be back in 30th in points, but they're not as far back as drivers like Trent Whitney and Eric Burton.
And speaking of shot for the chase, Red Bell, this 8th place finish tonight, Trent Dunham's points right now sits him 23rd in standings. This is a pretty good finish to hand the reins back over to Trent Dunham at Kansas with.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, he'll be fresh-faced looking for a win, so maybe he can make something of that.
But we're going to have to see what's going to happen. Let's also see if we're going to have a battle for the points lead here. Dylan Poteet finished the night in 24th place. Hayden Klein finished behind him, or no, just ahead of him in 23rd. So Hayden Klein would not be the new points leader. John Citadino, he had to be 13 positions ahead of Dylan Poteet, which means he would have had to have finished 11th or better, and Citadino finished 19th. So that means that regardless of the Wreckfest tonight, Dylan Poteet survives to still be the points leader heading into next week at Kansas.
Mainly because everyone else wrecked too.
That's pretty much the case. Everybody ahead of him. The only challenger he would have possibly had would have been Henley, but Henley was too far back. But Poteet, pretty lucky guy right there.
Yeah, big gainer today is Sean Henley, and maybe Barney Ward because he survived as well. But good to see both of them having good runs and working their way up through the top 10.
Absolutely. Another driver that just might possibly be able to have worked his way into the top 10 in points after I think he survived today is our winner from Pocono, Charles Jackson. He got 14th place, and a lot of drivers ahead of him wrecked out, and he came in 13th in points, so he may have been able to work his way into the top 10 in the standings tonight.
Yeah, we hadn't mentioned him pretty much all day, so it's good to see acknowledge him once in a race as well.
Yep, so absolutely chaotic, but James, I want to thank you for joining me for this race.
Yeah, no problem. It was actually a really fun race to commentate, Wreckfest and all.
Definitely going to be a point shakeup, I would think, in the top 10 in points. Question is, who stayed in, who fell out? We'll find that out very soon. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. Be sure to give a video a like, subscribe to become a part of the crew today. Also be sure to subscribe to Blue Fox 56. I'll put the link to his channel in the description. And we will see you guys next time. Here comes your official finishing results, your overall points, as well as your rookie points, as James hiccups.
we got barrel attack.
There you go. Anything you want to say to close out this video, James?
Barrels are the demons.
Indeed. And that was definitely shown tonight. So, hope you guys enjoyed the race. We'll see you guys next time on the SJ Sports Channel, offline racing at its best.
Out on play.